The winter this year arrived earlier than expected. The air was sharp and cold, the kind of cold that makes every breath feel heavy in your chest. Snow had been falling since the night before, covering the fields and the quiet roads outside town with a thick white blanket. That afternoon, I was driving to the supermarket to buy some groceries. It was supposed to be a simple trip, nothing unusual, just another winter day. But sometimes life changes in the smallest moments. On the way back, while driving along a narrow rural road, something caught my eye in the distance. At first it looked like a small pile of snow lying in the middle of the dry field beside the road. But something about it felt strange. Maybe it was the shape, maybe it was instinct, but I slowed the car and looked again. Then I saw it move. Very slightly. I pulled the car over immediately and stepped out into the freezing wind. The snow crunched under my boots as I walked toward the field. The closer I got, the clearer it became. It wasn't a pile of snow. It was a puppy. A tiny puppy lying almost completely frozen in the middle of the field, his small body covered in snowflakes. His fur was stiff with frost, and his breathing was so weak that I could barely see his chest move. For a moment, I thought I was too late. But when I knelt down beside him, I noticed something faint, the smallest movement, a weak attempt to breathe. He was still alive. Without thinking, I took off my jacket and carefully wrapped the puppy inside it. His body felt icy, like holding a piece of cold stone. I carried him quickly back to the car and turned the heater on full blast. All the way home, I kept glancing at him in the passenger seat, silently hoping he would keep breathing. When we arrived, the first thing I did was bring him inside and wrap him in warm blankets. I placed him near a small heater and gently rubbed his tiny body to help the warmth return to his limbs. For several minutes, he didn't move at all. Then slowly, very slowly, his body trembled. It was a weak shiver, but it was a sign of life. I warmed some water and let him drink a few drops at a time. After that, I prepared a little milk and carefully fed him using a small spoon. At first he could barely swallow, but little by little he began to respond. Then something beautiful happened. After what felt like hours, the puppy opened his eyes. They were tired and confused, but they were alive. At that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The tiny creature who had nearly disappeared in the snow was still fighting. Over the next few days, I stayed close to him almost constantly. Because he was so young, he couldn't eat solid food yet. Milk became his only source of nutrition, and I fed him several times a day to keep his strength up. His body was weak at first, but gradually he began to regain energy. Each day brought small changes. One day he managed to stand for a few seconds. The next day he took a few wobbly steps across the floor. Watching him grow stronger felt like witnessing a quiet miracle. But the puppy wasn't the only animal in my home. I had an old cat who had lived with me for many years. He was calm, wise in his own quiet way, and usually indifferent to most things around him. When I first brought the puppy inside, I wondered how he would react. Animals can be unpredictable with newcomers. But something unexpected happened. The old cat approached the puppy slowly, sniffed him carefully, and then simply sat beside him. There was no hostility, no fear, just curiosity. Over time, their relationship grew into something remarkable. The cat seemed to understand that the puppy was fragile. Whenever the puppy slept, the cat would lie nearby as if guarding him. If the puppy wandered too far across the room, the cat would quietly follow, watching over him. It was almost like having a gentle older brother. As the weeks passed, the puppy grew stronger and more playful. His once fragile body filled out, and the sparkle returned to his eyes. He began exploring every corner of the house, chasing shadows, and stumbling happily across the floor. The old cat tolerated his energy with surprising patience. Sometimes the puppy would try to climb over him, tug at his tail, or bark playfully in his face. The cat would simply blink slowly, stretch, and allow the puppy to continue his joyful chaos. In those moments, the house felt warmer than ever. Spring eventually replaced the winter snow. The fields that had once been frozen and silent turned green again, filled with sunlight and wind. By then, the puppy had become an inseparable part of my daily life. Every morning we went outside together. The puppy would run ahead through the grass, stopping every few seconds to look back at me, making sure I was still there. The old cat sometimes followed us as well, walking proudly along the garden path as if supervising the entire adventure. We spent long afternoons exploring quiet roads, open fields, and small trails near the forest. The puppy loved the world with pure excitement. Every new smell, every new sound filled him with curiosity. Watching him enjoy life so freely made me think back to that cold winter day when I first found him lying motionless under the snow. The difference felt unbelievable. Time passed quickly. Before I realized it, an entire year had gone by. The puppy who once couldn't even open his eyes had grown into a healthy, energetic dog. His coat was thick and bright, his steps strong and confident. And so I decided to celebrate something special. His first birthday. I prepared a small cake made specially for dogs and decorated the living room with a few simple decorations. It wasn't a big celebration, just a quiet moment at home. But to me, it meant everything. Because that birthday wasn't just about age. It was about survival. It was about the fragile life that had once been left alone in a frozen field and the journey that followed. The puppy wagged his tail wildly as I placed the cake in front of him, his excitement filling the room with laughter. The old cat sat nearby, watching with the same calm expression he had always carried, as if approving the celebration. When I looked at them both together, the playful young dog and the wise old cat, I felt something deeply comforting. Family doesn't always arrive in the way we expect. Sometimes it begins with a moment of kindness, a decision to stop, to notice, to care. That winter day, I thought I was simply going to the supermarket. I never imagined I would come home with a new life in my arms. But now, watching him run across the yard, barking happily while the old cat follows slowly behind, I realize something important. Some of the most beautiful stories in life begin in the coldest moments. And sometimes, all it takes to change everything is the decision to pick up a tiny creature lying in the snow,